Well, I do still think that we're probably the only cab trade in the world where you are more than likely not going to get ripped off. Thank you for supporting our channel. Thank you for supporting Wizan. Please like, subscribe, comment and hit the notification bell for any future videos.
You know if someone's had a bit too much to drink before you let them in your cab. And that's you reading someone. You've got that skill. So all you're going to go on a course with Tom, forgive me, but at Westwood Company, and you're going to enhance on them skills and work on them and think, I quite like this.
Yeah,
it's not for everyone.
Yeah, sometimes you get a group and they're not all fully engaged. It's not like you're going to get that. I mean, that rarely happens. There might be one who's leading it more. There might be a dad who wants to sort of learn more about London. Kids might be less interested. Yeah, and it like I said, just managing the group. Sometimes you pick them up from a long layover at Heathrow or whatever, and they're falling asleep in the back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm here to make you comfortable.
What, they've steamed straight into a tour?
Straight a lot. Yeah, because you're a cab. It's what I said earlier.
It's making it as easy as possible for them, and it's the value proposition that we can offer. Yeah. So look, I'll come pick you up, grab all your bags. We can give a bit of a tour of London, have a bit of an itinerary. You know how London's laid out because you've never seen it before, and I'll drop your bags at the hotel. One person to pay. You're their contact of London. You can drop them off and say, right, it was great. Let me know if you have any questions or whatever, if you want to learn how to get around London.
Set fare.
Yeah, set fare. And
I never understood this. It's perfect.
Yeah, but they might come back to you and say, oh, do you know what, we was really tired yesterday and it might have only been like a 2-hour tour. Let's book a longer one when we're a bit fresher. Come pick us up at the weekend or, and we can do a bit of a longer, slower paced tour.
I had a guy who came, he'd never been before. He came solo. And he was he sort of done the tour once with me, loved it so much. He was on a bit of a recce for his family because he was going to bring them over. So done the tour with me, and then a few months later, booking comes in again from him. Can do it with my family now, and he loved it.
So he's basically wants his family to have the same experience that he's had on the thingy.
You get a few referrals. You get a few coming back, but it's nice. Most of them, I think, are just all fresh anyway. Which is nice.
Well, obviously, this is our city, and we kind of, like you say, we know it, but we don't really know the history. But I imagine as being an outsider, I think that would be lovely.
Oh, they love it.
And also, I'm going to give us some credit here now as well. We're black cab drivers in London. And we're quite a trustworthy bunch of fellas and women.
It's amazing how many of them don't know about the knowledge. When you get the Americans in, they just book it. And that's the first thing I get out straight off the bat. It's we do the knowledge. And then now I've done history from that, Yeah. And they just can't get their head around it.
Well, I do still think that we're probably the only cab trade in the world where you are more than likely not going to get ripped off because we don't have a purpose to ripping anybody off. I'm sure there's going to be someone in our industry who's done it, but you go all around the world and every cab driver in every city, apart from us, and I'm not going to speak for Tokyo. Got any knowledge on Tokyo?
No, but they don't even take tips.
Bangkok, we got massively ripped off. Different experiences in different places. But
going back to that, I think it's just what we have to do to get our badge, which is going.
And we presume, don't we? We presume that people know what we know.
Yeah, but you work so hard to get your badge. Yeah, you ain't going to risk. What's the point of ripping someone off for a couple of quid?
I heard the reason why we give. Well, it's not. I heard it's a really interesting hypothesis by a guy called Rory Sutherland, who's massive. He's a head up in advertising and stuff. He's a big taxi fan. So the reason why cabbies give their job for free is because because they have such a strong reputation. It's not like a builder where they can rip people off left, right and centre. They have to keep the reputation so strong throughout their whole career because otherwise livelihood goes wrong. So the only time or the only job a taxi driver can rip the customer off is technically their last one because it's not going to have any repercussions on it. In which case,
on his own.
In which case, the punters broke even because the first one was free.
That's an hypothesis. So I imagine we don't even know when our last fare is, do we? So we've got to know that that's going to be my last job ever. I imagine most cab drivers retire by accident and not realise that was their day that they retired and they never knew. Financially, it's not massively expensive for me to hire you to take me on a tour.
Look, the finances are in place because if you look, I don't necessarily want to put a monetary value on anything, but if you think about if you hire a guide and then you hire a driver, you do the maths on that, you could effectively charge within that spectrum. Okay, so if you look at it in that respect, you can get a premium. You're getting what you put out. You got I get Walters. I know people that give out little stripy bags of sweets and stuff. And they, you don't have to do that. But I'm saying, the more you put in, I'll have a tour starting at 10. I'll come in early to miss the traffic. I won't hurt the cab because I can't be bothered. What's the point of working a cab? I've got a tour coming up.
It's a long old day when you think I've got to clean my cab, I've got to get it all,
you've got to clean the cab.
I know it sounds stupid because we've got to clean our cabs anyway, but it's not like you can just turn up, work the street. It's like everything's got to be spotless because they're going to be in that cab for
every single job I do, my cab's cleans.
Yeah.
Every job. So if it's like, if I've come into town and it's raining,
you've got to get it cleaned.
Stopped, I'm still got to suffer Edgware Road and pay 15 quid to get it washed because I'm not turning out for a dirty cab. Yeah. So you're getting what you put out. If I'm giving a job to someone and I've seen them on the tour and they've got a dirty cab, I'm thinking he ain't getting another job out of me.
So you're not going to tell me how much you charge?
No.
But it is a bit of a sliding scale because obviously you have like different clientele, different people can warrant it. Like if you've got different badges, you can then say, look, I'm worth this. For me, like I get people now because of what they spot me on YouTube, which is kind of I didn't even think of this, but it's a backwards way of marketing that they see me and go, oh, I want a tour with you. It's like, well, you can put a premium on that because like you're booking me for me. Like no one else can offer that.
When you think about it like this, you've got that the access, you've got the vehicle, and it's a package where you can, in a certain amount of time, get to a number of places, which if you're on a walking tour and you do a 2-hour walking tour, you're confined to maybe one particular area. You may just do Westminster in 2 hours.
And you've got to walk and you're in the rain. And, on Camden, they were like, oh, we learned a little bit about Kenwood House, but like, we're not going to go into too much detail. Yeah. No guy can get there because every walking tour has to start and stop at a tube station, basically. That's the general format.
Like you could do a Harry Potter tour in a cab, which I used to do them at the beginning because I've tried to spread myself a bit thin in London. So, but I don't really, I do other stuff personally, but you can literally do the whole Harry Potter tour.
And you think about the locations of where Harry Potter was filmed. You can't walk between those locations.
Yeah, you're talking Claremont Square.
I don't know any of where they were filmed.
Leadenhall Market, Westminster. You try and do all that. And there's guys that do that on the tube. They take groups on tubes and they do it.
Oh, you're right now. I remember the Leadenhall Market bits in that because that's a beautiful place to sort of film in there, isn't it?
So my point is, so that one tour, one Harry Potter tour is quite stretched out. Yeah. So Beatles, again.
I imagine then there's a little bit of abuse going on here. Then you're parking those cabs in special places.
Not me.
Well, in if you've got a TXC, you can pay for 10 minutes and get 4 hours in like Westminster. Oh. So you can go and pay for your 10 minutes, you get 4 hours, and you can do a little bit of a walk around Westminster.
Yeah,
but
they've that as well. I'm glad Link said that. You do some people think they're getting in the cab, they're not getting out.
Yeah, but you must carry with you the parking ranks guide so you know where you can.
I know where the rest ranks are for the driver to go and have a rest.
Yes.
I don't know about parking ranks, but I know where I can rest. But generally, because there's a lot more people doing it, there's a certain rank near the change of the guard. It's always banged out at like half 10. You try and go down there, and you recognise all the cabs.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? You've got to think about the other drivers that are working. The thing we're always talking about on the knowledge is you do knowledge. We want to look after our ranks.
So
why are you then going to go and become a guide and take the ranks up?
Yeah.
Have a bit of respect for you. That's the way I am. I've been in this game long enough to know. Get the apps. I'm not being funny. I've got another bank account that all my guiding stuff goes through. Stationery, parking, all of that stuff goes through that, and that goes to my accountant. Do you know what I mean?
Just build it into the pricing of what you do, and also you got to think about your punters. Like, how far are they going to be walking? Like, some places I thought, well, I can't stick it there because that's going to be too far a walk. So just swallow up the cost because you don't want them walking forever and then pointing out loads of stuff that you don't know about because it's like a route that what's this here, and you're like, don't know about that one, like.
But what I can tell you is, look at that next door. But generally, people tip you as well. Like I will talk about, they do tip, and they do tip quite well generally.
Or you have lunch with them or whatever.
You have I've eaten in some really nice places. James Martin up in the Cotswolds, man, that was brilliant. And I was like,
hold on a minute, but the Cotswolds not in London. What are you talking about?
No, I do out of town stuff as well.
So this is something you can go on to after you.
I'd love to. I'd happily explore that you actually go on
and progress. You're talking about the Camden badge and the Westminster badge, and the boroughs have got their individual badges.
Yeah, I do Bath, Stonehenge, Oxford, Cotswolds.
But that's blue badge.
No. Well, yeah, but
there's nothing in the guiding. You don't actually need a guiding badge. Like,
legally,
in London, we don't need it.
Legally in this country, you don't need any qualifications to guide. Right. Legally. Like you can guide, but
it's a nice thing to say to the Americans because they are quite a qualification based system where you need guides.
But if you're going to try and guide without qualifications, then you're not going to really get much work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're not, unless you're a YouTuber or something like that, where you talk about history in London and people go, "Oh, can I book you for a tour?"
Yeah, a lot of the walking guides probably don't have guiding badges per se.
Yeah,
I know quite a few of very good walking guides.
We are that guiding badge is green I mean, I remember getting told this on the course, and then so we are qualified to guide in the city. So people that are qualified to guide in a house like Highclere Castle or something, that's a lower qualification. Like bus tours, people that tour on buses generally they're only allowed.
It falls in with a designation of other badges called green badges, which is like borough ones. Then obviously this one, which is all over. And to be fair, whenever I took this badge on the Camden course, there's a few of them there like. Because they're all like serial badge collectors where they go from borough to borough because it's just like retired old biddies and ex-coppers, and they're like, oh, what's that one then? I'm like, can't get this one.
Can't get this
you've done the knowledge.
Yeah. You know what? I'm glad you said that, because when I done the course, they said that it's designed for cab drivers, but you don't have to be a cab driver to do it. That's what they said when I done the course. And I remember thinking, and then they went, but don't worry, everyone that does it is a cab driver.
So you don't have to be a cab
driver. I don't know the exact.
I think it's probably changed now. I'm sure, but that's what I remember being told. Thinking, you know.
But the course has evolved over the years.
Yeah, what's occurred to me with this little chat that we're having is that obviously us as cab drivers, with the fact that we've got the transport to go around London, because you point out the walking tours, they've got to go station to station.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the optimum position. We're the top of the tree in terms of what you should be if you're going to be a guide. This is doesn't get
everything.
any better.
You know, being able to get out to Primrose Hill and things like that. Like, just a little drive up there. And
I mean, within the within that small circle, sometimes you might drive guides around. Like, I know people they've got enough work that they drive guides around, and they say, I've got a job. It's just a driving job. You don't get paid as much, but it's like, do you want to do it? And you're driving a blue badge. And the blue badges, because
he's using you because
they use us.
You're the transport.
Yeah, I mean, the blue badge is not effectively using us. That's been if someone has booked within a company, they booked the blue badge and transport.
Yeah.
And then that company's gone like, well, we need a black cab because the blue badge gets around easier.
Yeah.
So that happens quite a bit. We do drive guides around. I mean, I don't do it myself, but I have done it.
And then you look at
oh, that's boring.
Well, you look at
an anorak. God,
what an anorak.
Going on,
How many dates did he give me?
Yeah. And you look at the tours that you can offer as a cab driver. It is different to a blue badge, but also you're rolling that all into one. Where you've got the vehicle and you've got the access and the bus lanes.
Are you looking forward to your first tour, Nick?
Yeah, I've done tours before, but I'm looking forward to this one now, because even after the 8 weeks, you think, if I'd have known that when I'd done my first tour, it'd have been so much better.
Yeah.
Even down to where you're standing. And I remember my first one, it was short and it was last minute. Someone said, I've just got 2 hours booked. Can you just cover these 2 hours? And there was mobility issues and you had to deal with that. And even understanding how to deal with those mobility issues now, I think, that 2 hours I could have been. They was happy with the tour they got, but it could have been so much better, even after the kind of 8 weeks of training on the cab guide course.
Do you have a set repertoire of jokes that go along with certain monuments that you will say every time when you're looking at certain things?
It's kind of endless in like how you adapt it and evolve it, because you go, that didn't work well there, or that was a bit more walking there. We want to maybe park somewhere a bit better there. So you evolve that.
Toilets.
Yeah, toilets, well known.
Toilets, big part. Yeah, I imagine.
Toilets, big part. Don't go out to hotels. I mean, come on, have a go. That's for taxi drivers. Don't start taking hordes of people in hotels.
Okay, yeah, we keep the perk for ourselves because we need that.
Yeah, you got. I mean, you just got to think a little bit. But there is there is places to go where
Paddington Street.
What's that?
There's a
my knowledge is so bad.
There's a public toilet on Paddington.
I think that's a cruises one. That's a bit.
That's why I know it. I was George Michael with one day.
Yeah.
No, there's so few public toilets. So
there is few public toilets.
It is a serious piece of knowledge to know where public toilets are.
I mean, I would take them to the Iron Lung. You know.
Oh no. No.
You want the real cab driver experience?
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, and then you go out there and you eat in the Regency. And,
just get shouted at.
Usually time
sitting down before you order.
Yeah. Usually time it with like a coffee break or something, because then it's like if they just want to grab.
So where are you going to get me to the toilet then? You don't know where any toilets are. Where are they?
Time it with a coffee break.
I don't want to tell you that because everyone will be turning.
Well, on that note,
I'm saying it's things that you learn, you pick up. You know,
you say you don't want to tell me now because you don't want people to know the toilets. That's fine.
But I mean, you know, if you've engaged yourself in a course, then you will learn.
You learn. But the point would be this. You basically are on a select few of a select club at the moment. How big do you want your club to become?
No, look.
But not everyone then goes on to do it regularly. Like, I've not done very many tours this year. Some people are a bit more sort of serial with it. You'll also have your different areas that you gravitate towards. So, I always drop in Kensington Palace, but I know that some people, it's not as
my mate likes to drop in Borough because he lives down sort of southeast, so he likes to drop at Borough Market.
You don't have to do this course and then go on to guide. Doing this course is just a great way to be a better cab driver. If it's just enhancing someone's journey,
increasing your tips.
Yeah, so I picked, like the other day, finished the course, picked up from the Westminster Hotel. Now we're going to the British Museum. On that route, you could guide for an hour or 2 hours just the things you drive past. Now I bettered their experience in the taxi the first time in London, and just showing them some things on the way.
Yeah, so having a bit of practice.
Even if you, exactly, that as well. But even if you do the course, and you don't have to go on and become a guide or guide full-time or part-time or book out 4-hour tours. You can just be a better cab driver, and you can just show people things on the way and increase the reputation of taxi drivers in London. So it's good.
I don't know if I'm going nuts though. I mean, but I don't know the Westminster Hotel.
No, it used to be the Hilton on John Islip Street. It's called the Westminster now.
Is it not got a brand with it?
It might still be a Hilton. I think it's Curio or something like that.
Yeah.
I know where you are now. I actually did know it. Yeah. And I think it always was called the Westminster, but not quite exactly just Westminster Hotel. Is that what they're calling it now?
So, but even like when I pick people up from the airport, I always say to them, first time in London, and if they say yes, I say, look, I know you've had a long flight or, long travel day. If you want to know anything about a statue or a building or something that we drive past, and
So you're touting for work in a sense.
Yeah, but I don't offer people an impromptu tour.
No, but
I don't just off the bat say, oh, this is this and this is that. I always say to them, that first time in London, just relax. I'll get you to your hotel, no problem. But if you do want to know more than welcome to ask me.
And this again is selling our trade perfectly well, and adding a string to your bow as a driver, giving you possibilities to earn more money.
You normally get to Hyde Park Corner and they point out Wellington Arch and say, is that Marble Arch? And you go, well, actually, no, Marble Arch is that way, but this is Wellington Arch. And you can just kind of just ease them in, and then they might become a bit more interested. And then by the time you get further down the road or you go past Buckingham Palace, it just evolves. It's quite organic that way. You don't have to just chuck your knowledge onto people.
Your area was Clerkenwell.
That's where.
So tell me, because I know nothing about St John's Gate. What's that?
So St John's Gate would be. It's funny. It's not my exam point. So this is there. So you pick up little bits from other people on the course. But for my existence of Clerkenwell is the Martyrs Memorial and the Wallace Memorial and the One Sun Pub. And that was my focus for
St John's Gate's something to do with St John's Ambulance, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So that's the HQ of St John's Ambulance. And
in the old days, I literally have no idea what it is, because it seems a bit old for St John's Ambulance.
No, yeah. So that come later, but originally it was part of it belonged to the Knights Hospitallers. So it's like the person that had St John's Gate for their exam point will know the ins and outs of that gate. There used to be a coffee shop there as well, one of the first coffee shops in London. But to gain access, you had to speak Latin. And not a lot of people spoke Latin, so the coffee shop failed. So all of those little things you pick up...
to gain access to the coffee shop?
Yeah, you had to speak Latin.
Well, it's a bit of a bad... But that's the old USP again, isn't it? My unique selling point is we're not selling anything.
Yeah, those commoners who speak English.
Yeah. But so the exam was on Clerkenwell, and you listen to other people do their exam points, but when you're on your exam, the whole time you're thinking... I've got my point coming up, and you're getting ready for your one. So like my first point would have been the One Ton Pub. So I'm looking at them and I'm kind of engaging and nodding and seeming enthusiastic, but I know in 3 points time, I've got to stand there and do my presentation, my 5 minutes. So you're thinking the whole time, right, I'm getting one step closer. And the way the exam's set up, you have to then guide your group from the previous point to your point and do your health and safety and make sure people aren't in the road. Yeah. So you are listening and picking up little bits and pieces, but you're not. You can't put that much time and effort into those 20 exam points in Clerkenwell. So
you've got me now interested in the fact of is this 1 ton pub to do with a Chinese soup or a weight measure?
It is a measure. So the 1 ton.
I'm not
going to give you my
what you've shown there, yeah. This is what you have to learn. It's like doing a knowledge, yeah. When you learn, you've got to know everything. When you drive a cab, do you know what I mean? You just know, you've got to know how to use the skills. You learn that to do that, but then when you get out, it's like, what is it, China? You know, like you frankify it. Do you know what I mean? Like you make it easy, and you just make it.
If you don't know it, you'll find something on it and go, well, I don't know, but and this is great with having Americans as well, is that if they've never been here before, they'll question stuff that you've never questioned. You've got a fresh pair of eyes.
Stuff they come out with sometimes,
and you're like, I've never
Do
seen
you know
that
what?
before.
My most embarrassing thing, you know the Crimea statue, the big Crimea memorial down the bottom of I drove past there. I'm a tour guide at this point. I got my badge. I was qualified. And they went, what's that? I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know. It's massive. How could you not? It says Crimea on it, you know. And I was like, I don't know. I said, but there is hundreds of statues around, you know. And I started talking about statues in London, but I just thought, my God,
You can't know everything, Frank.
yeah, but come on.
And
How
again,
big is that?
you're just honest with your passengers, because if you try and blag it, it's just only going to come back and bite.
You can't blag it. You just got to sort of, you know, you engage with people.
Except, what you don't know, and but make it more of an intrigue as well, and say, oh, actually, I can see there's Florence Nightingale there, and then you can go down that rabbit hole a bit more.
Yeah.
He knows them on your.
There's a Christmas tree there as well at the moment, isn't there?
There
is. That's something to do with
as well. Is when someone asks you a question you don't know the answer to, you'll go out and find the answer, and you'll never forget that answer.
Yeah.
So on one of our walks, there's a bust of Samuel Pepys, and on the bottom of the statue, the sort of there's engraving his musical notes. And no one knew what the musical notes were for. So you go away, you find out the answer, and then you never forget that. It's like,
what was it play?
So no, the musical notes, they're a song that Samuel Pepys wrote, and in his in the National Portrait Gallery is a portrait of Pepys. He's holding a copy of that song.
Oh.
So that's something that no one knew, not even the.
But I have to stop you because I've got to correct you. It's Pepys.
Typical Yank. And there's your customer right there.
Is that the River Thames?
Peppy Street.
Well, I had one with the Marriott, funny enough. It's the same kind of idea. So it's the Marriott. It's not the Marriott. It's the Marriott, yeah. You want to go? It's the Marriott. I know it because it's John Marriott. And John Marriott was an American that I'm like, I'll forget it, mate. You're in London now. That's the Marriott. Just, you know.
I'll take you down the Mall.
Yeah.
Not the Mall.
The Mall, yeah.
Where's the Mall? Or Westfield.
do you know, funny, the Mall, I have thought about that one as because I've been doing a lot of audio recently, and it is the Mall, but it is the Mall. How have we made it the Mall?
French, isn't it? It's Pall Mall.
Yeah, Pall Mall, Pally Mally.
Pally Mally.
So we're taking the French pronunciation and just doing it because it's Chiswick Mall, but the Mall.
It's the Mall. Well, yeah, because it's associated with the game. We used to play the game, didn't they? Pally Mally down.
Yeah,
that is just behind the tree lines, wasn't it? That was where it was. What? I'm a Westminster guy, but like a cat in the headlights. I believe
Camden.
Just like parallel with the actual Mall.
Yeah,
is where they used to play the game.
And that's fantastic because I've learned something today. Yeah. I mean, I've learned why we say the Mall, and that was important. And Pally Mally, is that the game they played that's a little croquet egg?
Yeah.
It's not croquet though, is it? It's
not croquet. It's
French.
Which
I knew of the name Pally Mally, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
obviously
the association with it. Yeah. I mean, not this. You know, I've talked to it the other day. There's so many things that connect in London.
Well, you know, birdcage walking where the birdcage is.
Yep.
They used to walk their birds.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the
that's the birdkeeper's cottage on.
Am I Westminster? I don't think I am.
Yeah, on Storey's Gate.
I know it. Yeah.
Edwin Storey, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know the Story Gate one. I'm right there with the birdcage.
That's where the Averys were, I thought, but that's just
no. I'm sure.
I've never heard this.
No,
they would walk their birds, carrying their cages. They would walk their birds up and down birdcage walk.
Possibly. Sounds like a Georgian thing. Georgian?
Yeah. Whoever lived in them houses, you weren't talking about poor people.
They're all Georgian houses, isn't they? I think they're all Georgian, isn't they, around there?
But it makes you, the whole thing with it, and what's opened my eyes to, is you question everything now. You look at a street and you're like, oh yeah,
you know it.
Yeah, I get that now.
Do you know when we done the course and there's a week you do architecture, so they take you through some architecture stuff, and for the next week I was constantly looking up at buildings and just finding myself intrigued by the architecture.
Corinthian, Ionic column, Doric column.
All of that
you
stuff.
look at like the.
I hate to say it, but my job at college was architecture, so I'm into the Baroque and the Gothic and the I've done my days. I went to school sometimes.
But you'll find things on the course that pique your interest more. Like if you do the week on Westminster and you become infatuated with Westminster, you might go on and do the Westminster guiding course.
Yeah.
And after the architecture,
it doesn't seem to work, the Westminster guiding course.
But after the
so they do renewals on them badges.
You know what? I should ask me money back because I just don't seem to know anything. No, but do you know what? Because I used to work a cab.
You're under the spotlight.
When I worked a cab, you know what I mean? When I worked a cab, I used to like working West. I mean, I come in from West, so I used to like working West. And then when I like West, really. the city's great. The city's got some amazing history. Obviously, it's 2,000 years old there, but it is a bit more difficult to sort of drive around. The city,
Connecting that back again to the knowledge. I mean, on the knowledge, I think in most of our days when we all did the knowledge, we could be asked really nice historical. The Porter's Rest in Piccadilly, for example, we would. That was a point that we could be asked.
Listen, I used that the other day.
Yeah.
I go like, and then see, this is where you sort of familiarise it with people. It goes like gig economy. Go think about Deliveroo. They were the Deliveroo of the day.
Oh yeah.
Where they wanted a rest, they put their sacks up.
Yep.
Goes nowadays, you get someone on an electric bike.
Someone will point it out to the listeners who they don't know what we're talking about, because many people won't know it.
Go on, you do it, Tom. I'll leave that.
Well, I don't know either. So.
Piccadilly.
Yeah, there's like a big shelf next to the bus stop.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so the Porter's Rest is a high shelf next to the bus stop. Or
yes,
Piccadilly going westbound. Yeah,
my issue is, should we still be asked that sort of stuff? Because I found all that stuff very easy to learn. Anything that had some sort of
connection,
it was easy to learn. It's much harder to learn London House in Mecklenburgh Square, which is another London house in another square, but an interesting historical fact.
Yeah,
and they kind of they had this period where they moaned about the fact these are not relevant for our knowledge because it needs to be somewhere that someone wants you to take them, and it kind of has some argument, but I don't think it hurt us to know that stuff.
And it's not like a taxing story to learn about Porter's Rest.
No, very simple.
That little historical fact will help you remember it. And so it's not,
Not only helps you remember it, it increases the way that you feel and see the area.
The stuff that you're going to learn and know, like throughout, however long you want to, if you're interested in it, you might be sitting in, might be banged out going that way and look at it and think, why is that so high? And then you learn about it. We're human beings. We're intrigued. We're curiosity.
Okay, now I'm curious.
And then someone's going to say, well, what's the memorial behind it? What's the bomber crew? And then you're not going to know, and then you're going to look into it, and then you're not going to forget it because you've looked into it. You've done your research.
I didn't know that one. But I want to now learn something else.
Even that little story is interesting. So that's a Halifax bomber crew.
Yep.
And there was a Halifax that they found in Belgium in the 90s, and they dug it out of the mud. And some of the crew was still in the plane when the plane crashed.
I bet they were bored.
But they took part of the Halifax and they put the pieces of the Halifax in that memorial. And it's not like massively, it's not a huge story to learn, but if you're going up the slip and you're sitting in traffic and you just want to keep your people entertained,
I'm fascinated now. So where is it? This is by Porter's Rest.
Bomber Command.
Yeah, the Bomber Command.
Do you know the new one? The newest monument.
Newest monument. Yeah,
they've done it a few years ago. Remember, it's got the statue of the feathers. I don't.
Yeah, so that's a Halifax crew, and there's a story of Halifax.
And it's made out of the metals.
Not fully, but they incorporated parts of that Halifax plane into the memorial. But those little things, even things like there's 32 pods on the London Eye, you're going to be sitting on the embankment waiting to get to Parliament.
You sure that ain't a coincidence?
But people,
they do a circle.
Do you know
but
I always think that, but I think everyone says it.
Those little filler pieces are really good, just to keep your people entertained.
Why is Westminster Bridge and green, and why is Lambeth Bridge red and pink?
Pink, let it be red. Well, that's the two ends of the house, isn't it? They sit in red leather seats, and in the Commons, the people that represent us, and they sit on green leather seats.
Okay.
And they're at this end of the house, so you've got two ends of that. That's great. You get people down there, tell them all stuff.
Well, I should put a photo up of someone was walking across Westminster Bridge, I won't say who, the other day, walking across Westminster Bridge and the sun was shining.
Oh, here we go.
And
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that before.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I never knew it.
I had an American tell me about it because the power of.
Everyone knows about it then?
Well, I had an American goes, isn't that the bridge where the image comes up in the sun? I went, yeah, that is. It's travelled.
And you knew that?
Yeah, only through like social media.
I feel well left out.
Viral.
What's going on?
Two round the three circles.
In the bridge.
I'm not putting that bit in, but so Dave was walking across the bridge and he took a picture of it and sent it to me. He says, "Look at this."
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And I thought that was the first time we'd ever known it, but it's like everyone must have seen it. Have you not seen the image?
I think I see it now. I can see the shape in the bridge, the cut.
But it is a bit. It's quite classic.
One, if you come out the World's End in Camden, someone done one on TikTok. You know the sort of pavement that's got those little bits of glass in it, like translucent glass.
Yeah.
That's in a bit of light for like a basement or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
There's a toilet underneath there, presumably for like the underworld or whatever. But one of the bits of translucent glass is missing. So someone just did it on their camera and just zoomed right in, and it's right above a stall.
No.
Yeah, I have to find it. It's ridiculous.
Not someone in the stall.
No, but I don't know if it's locked up or if it's an old public toilet that doesn't get used now, but it was,
So now we're on to public toilets. Has anybody been into a public toilet that's now a restaurant or a bar?
You got the attendant in Fitzrovia. that's like a coffee shop, isn't it? And you're sat there in the urinals.
Nice.
But they've kept the urinals.
It's like an old like Victorian like underground like with the real sort of like quite grand urinals,
the old lovely ones,
step ones, yeah. And it's it's a real like.
I've been on the one on Wellington Street and Aldwych. That's a bar or was a bar.
Yeah,
you go down there, and then also the one at Whitechapel. They turned that into a curry house, didn't they?
Yeah, or like a club for a while. That was
couldn't be that big.
Yeah,
but interesting. But they were perfect. They were lovely. Them toilets. You're not old enough for them.
I remember them.
And you're not old enough for them. But we are.
I'm of an age where I wouldn't go near them. Don't go there. Strange men like Dean hang around there.
If you've got to write
come to my school.
If you've got to write a particular essay,
little boy, do the knowledge.
If you've got to write a particular essay on the course, you'll learn about public flushing toilets. So the course is it's widespread. There's only 2 courses a year.
Is it?
Yeah, 2.
Get your name down.
There's a spring and an autumn.
Yeah.
And how many people on each course?
It's about 20 people.
Yeah, we had 20 on ours. Yeah.
So there's about 40 new drivers coming through every year that are all cab drivers, but don't have to be coming through, joining this. So how many are there on past occurrences? Can only be
it's only a small cohort.
Yeah, and again, it's how many people go on to look.